Should my wall be doing this? I don't think so. So let's fix it. Firstly, I need to strip the interior wall down so I can see what's actually going on underneath. There's loads of electrics here, so it's a right pain. My van is based on an American RV and it has the same basic structure. So it's got an aluminium outer skin, or aluminum if you're American, with a kind of wooden structure inside. So this is all rotten, and so that the top of the window is not actually connected to anything, so that's just loose. That is wet. That is wet. That's a nice bit of wood. The bottom is solid, so I don't know why. Don't know why what exactly? The window is not connected to the wood here. See, the window's like gone. The window's gone outwards. I think something is wrong at the top there, holding the metal aluminium outer face away from the wooden internal frame. So I need to go up here, I think, and figure what's wrong. Under this carpet is a steel frame that supports the whole front of the van. This also needs to be here to support the bed above, and this is going to be a really useful thing. So I'm going to have to remove all this rotten wood and clear it up so that basically I can start again. It's hard to see, but I think this wall is actually kind of buckling outwards. So this metal frame is vertical, and the wall should be running down vertical, but you see how it's getting further and further out. And this back of the seat should be in line with here, so that's about an inch back, and then the wall's about an inch back as well, so I need to pull it in. So a quick visit to B&Q to grab some timber, and I'm going to fit a hefty stud behind this metal frame, between the metal frame and the outer skin. This was actually extremely difficult to fit in there because it's about as long as it could be and there just wasn't any access. So these screws on the outside have sucked the wall into the wood and kind of pulled everything all together. So now this is screwed in from the outside and from the inside. It is pretty solid now, but the window frame doesn't have anything in there at all. So what I need to do is build a wooden frame like this to pop in there, and that will give that rigidity. So I'm using pine strips to build this frame and using 90-degree metal interior brackets to support the corners. This is not the best way to do it, but unless you strip all the aluminium skin off and basically rebuild the whole side of the van, it's a bit of a nightmare trying to like add in one little bit of timber. So essentially this is a bodge, but yeah, it is what it is. Now onto the interior walls. Originally these vans had a thin ply interior wall with kind of this disgusting waterproof wallpaper. In my opinion, it's pretty awful stuff. When it gets wet, it traps all the water inside the wall and everything just rots. So you lose all the structural rigidity and the whole wall just becomes soft and mushy and loose, and you know, that's basically what's happened here. So I'm going to use this 3mm vinyl floor tiles instead. I've used this loads in this van and I swear it's the best thing ever. It's not designed to be used on a wall, but it works brilliantly. It's still waterproof, so that's good and bad. It won't let the wall breathe, but because it's made of vinyl, it doesn't go to mush when it gets wet. I'm only replacing the wall up to this point, about halfway across the window. In future, if I wanted, I could go further by just extending this all the way to the other end. But for now, I just want to get this, you know, immediate problems solved, and the rest of the wall is actually solid. And that's the inside, looking pretty good so far. On to the next bit. Once the outer skin was pulled in flush, the window actually came back into position as well, so everything's looking way better this side, so my concerns about this have kind of faded. So I'm just going to add a little bit of timber, but basically just straight onto the inner wall. These window rubber seals actually work by the pressure of the wall stretches the seal outwards, and that clamps on the outside. So if the wall has lost its kind of depth and density, or it's wet and mushy, what it does is it actually lets go on the outside, and the window can just fall out. So it's really important that the wall is as thick as it should be and solid, so it stretches that seal and makes everything nice and tight. And that's all, again, looking pretty good so far, and the electric all still work, which is a plus, otherwise I would have had to rip the whole thing out again. It's way more solid than before. But I still have this ugly kind of rusty metal bar that can't stay like that. And I don't want to put the mouldy carpet back. So I'm going to make this kind of like pine cover to go over it. And with a bit of Danish oil to varnish to make the surface look good. It also makes it a bit stronger. It's a subtle look, but I think it's really nice and super easy to apply. You don't even need a brush, you can just do it with kitchen roll. Now, this seal has seen better days. I could replace it. It's pretty easy to replace actually, but it's expensive and I can't be bothered. So I'm going to fix it with a liberal application of CT1. Now, everybody keeps telling me that I shouldn't use CT1 for political reasons. So I am going to try OB1, which is a more socially acceptable sealant. So I'll be using a bit of both on this job so we can see which is better, or if they're the same, which I'm hoping they are. After a thorough clean, I'm masking up the outer edge so I can make it neat. I like to do this. It just means however kind of crazy I am with my sealant, I can just take the seal off and I get a perfect straight line. It's just a bit difficult to get curved edges, that's the only issue. I'm making two passes here. The first pass is to get the sealant like under the seal and into the actual inside of the wall. And then I'm going to go around again on the surface. So it is absolutely packed with sealant. And I kind of use this like and mold it and shape it. And when it dries, it kind of turns to rubber. Very, very effective stuff. I'm 50% happy with this sealant job. It's all about prep and taking your time, and I am rushing a bit to get this video out, so yeah, I know that's a poor excuse, but anyway, it will do the job. It's gonna keep it dry, I'm pretty sure. On the CT1 OB1 contest, can't tell the difference. It looks exactly the same, dried the same, so I would say yep, OB1 is a good alternative. The wall is totally solid now. It doesn't flex at all and it doesn't move, and I'm pretty sure my kids aren't going to fall out onto the motorway, so that is a good thing. I'm gonna find